Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we're going to do my BT token guide for the month of May. I know I'm like a little bit late getting to this one, but it's been crazy busy with the DOKKAN stuff going on. There's been a lot of DFFOO stuff to do, so it's just been a really busy time. But what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to focus on who you should be using your BT tokens on this month if you happen to get to 50. I am going to mostly focus on characters that are actually coming out this month. A couple of things you need to know is if you're going to get the BT for someone, it has to be somebody that you have the kit for or have the ability to get the kit for. Namely having like the LD and then possibly the FR if you want to do the FR attacks. That's going to totally be up to you there. The other thing I would like to note is just for any new BT character coming out, they've pretty much got it down to where the BTs are pretty impactful in the kits. They're all adding a lot of extra things to the characters. So I think one general thing you guys should keep in mind is if you are planning to get a character and you want to build them and focus on them, you probably want the BT, right? And a good way you can think about it kind of moving forward, now that BTs are like a lot more common, they're putting them a lot more in banners, you might want to think of your BT token as like, which banner in the month do you want to just ticket and not use gems on? Because that's kind of what your BT token is going to be. It's going to allow you to ticket a banner and get just the FRLD that you need, and then buy the BT with tokens. So a lot of it's going to depend on like how your initial pulls go, maybe get lucky on a free multi, things like that. So what I'm going to talk about basically to give you advice. So with that being said, any character can be a good choice, and it also depends on which BTs you're missing. So I'm going to kind of just give you little summaries of the characters, like what their BTs do, things like that, to help you kind of figure out who you would want to use it on, right? So first set of characters we'll talk about is we've got Noctis, Edgar, and Lunafreya. Now I'll say with Lunafreya, she's probably actually one you wouldn't need to use your BT tokens on. A couple of things with Lunafreya. She's still insane. She's still very good as a support, but she's not getting Echo here. And I would recommend if you're going to use your BT tokens, I would prioritize it and use an Echo character, to be honest. And her BT, while it is very good, it's not essential to Lunafreya being good. So I'd say Lunafreya is fine LD only. Because you still get her quick prayer, heavy prayer, which is like the big part about her kit. Her BT just adds some auras and makes it so that those go an extra turn, right? Edgar, he's basically a debuff specialist, and he gives the enemies a lot of different imperils, does a lot of different types of attacks, so he's kind of like a mixed bag that way, kind of utility character. His damage is going to be a lot better now with his FR BT. So Edgar would be one of those characters that if you like him and you're going to use him, like you want the BT because it gives them additional follow-ups and it gives them a really good HP up, like an HP damage up, which is really helpful. Edgar, though, I would say is like probably one of the lower tier characters this month, so I don't know I would recommend you get it unless Edgar's a favorite and you know you're going to build him, right? Noctis is coming back. Noctis is definitely solid. I would say he's a character, he's got like a really old BT, so it's pretty much just built on auras. It doesn't like do anything groundbreaking for his kit. So Noctis is a character where I think you could still use him effectively without the BT. I don't think I would recommend Noctis this month, but he is like a good damage dealer. I mean, he is getting an upgrade. I believe he's getting Echo this month, so he should be definitely like very solid. But in terms of like what he's competing with, he probably wouldn't be my top choice. And being that he's such an old BT, a lot of people probably already have it. So he's probably not going to be a non-factor for most of you, right? All right, then we've got Balthier, the twins, and Core. So Core, we'll start with Core. I would say Core would actually be a very high recommendation this month. Core, does he need his BT to function? No, but he's a lot better with it. And the reason why I think Core would be a really good investment choice is because he's such a good character that you're going to use a lot, and he ages well. So having the BT just getting the auras is going to be really impactful because he's a character you're probably going to use a lot. And his BT effect makes it so we can put Oath of Absolute Defense on the entire party. Now, you can already do that with a workaround by bringing in a friend unit, but now it allows you to do it much more easily, and you can do it in events where you can't bring a friend unit. So I think for Core, it is pretty impactful. It is very good. I would highly recommend him as an option. I think Core's a character everybody should try to pick up if you can, right? Twins, I've already expressed my problem with the twins quite a bit. It's just that they're such an AoE specialist that they're basically unusable in single target. So I think there's a lot of fights that they're just not going to be effective in. Their BT is mainly just auras. It doesn't do anything extremely crazy. I think it heavily increases like AoE damage. Like if you're going to use twins and you're going to do a lot of AoE fights, sure, the BT is going to be fine. But they would probably be one of the lower tier BT choices this month. I don't know that I'd recommend them. Now, Balthier is an interesting one because Balthier, he's kind of like a support utility character. I refer to him as like a buff debuff manager. He helps you manage the debuffs on your own party and cleanse you, and he helps remove buffs from the enemy, which is very good. But with this upgrade, with his BTFR, his damage is actually pretty dang good. So you could use him as a damage dealer, and his BT is going to be pretty impactful for that. Because what happens is with his BT, a lot of Balthier's kit is about like stealing buffs off the enemy and like giving them to himself. Well, his BT makes it so stolen buffs will go to the entire party, which is kind of busted. And then it also gives them follow-up. So Balthier, so is Balthier like the number one character this month? No, but he is very good, and if he's a character you want to go in on, I definitely think you should get his BT. So he's going to be one that's just like, if he's a character you're going for, I think you should get it. Is he the number one BT this month? Probably not. Someone like Core is someone I would just blankly recommend everybody get. Balthier is going to be more like your preference, but I think he's going to actually be really good. I might be a little tempted myself on him. I got to kind of see his damage, but I think his damage is going to be really good, right? Some more characters we have coming back. We have Camlanot, Pain, and Titus. Cam, I would say I wouldn't really recommend to go for Cam. He's a little bit dated at this time, and I'm pretty sure he's not even getting Echo here. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure he's not getting Echo. So there just really isn't a place for Cam right now. Now, if you like Cam or you want to have his BT for when he's relevant again, his BT is very impactful to his kit. So if you're gonna run Cam, you definitely want the BT because it makes it so every attack you do will re-paralyze enemies. It keeps the enemies constantly paralyzed, which is super important for his FR, right? And can be useful in conjunction with other characters. But Cam right now in the current meta is kind of a character I'm not really going to prioritize or use, so I don't know that I would recommend you all grab him. Pain is a very fun, interesting character. She would fall into probably the Balthier character category where they're very good. Like, I think Pain's going to be very good. Is she a character I would recommend everyone get? Probably not. She's not going to be a character that everybody's going to use. She's not like a must-have. But man, she's really cool. She's a character that changes based on where you place her in the party. And the way I would play Pain is I would never put her in the middle. I would put her either far left or far right and make her a really good buffing character or a really good debuffing character, right? And their BT does make a huge difference. So she falls into the category that she's not a must-have. She's not my top recommendation. But if you know you're going to use Pain and you like her, then you want the BT. She gets a very powerful HP poison that is more powerful if you have her in full debuff mode. And then in debuff mode, you will get a powerful debuff called Mute Wing that will actually HP silence the enemies, which is very powerful. The enemies won't be able to touch you. If you're going more in buff mode, you get better auras, and then you get a buff that I believe gives the party instant turn rate for a few actions, which is really nice, kind of like a quick prayer type thing. So yeah, I think Pain is just a very fun character that you can use in multiple roles very, very well. So I think she is a worthwhile character to get if you like her, right? But she's not going to be my top recommendation, probably. Titus. Titus, very good damage dealer. A lot of you already are familiar with Titus and really like him. He's another one that if you are going to use him, yes, you want the BT because he gets double shot follow-ups, which you really, really want. But he's still not my number one top tier recommendation. But he is a good damage dealer. So if you're going to use him, yeah, you would want his BT, right? All right, and then this one will be probably, I think this is the last page I have here. Yep. So these are going to have some of the more higher tier characters. So we will talk about Aerith and Zac because they are currently on banners right now, right? And these are pretty big ones. And then I have Mog there, and we could talk about Mog. He's a little bit older, but I actually have Mog there as a placeholder for Quina. So Quina isn't in the game yet, but Quina is coming this month, right? So Aerith, I would say Aerith and Quina would probably be my two number one picks this month. Aerith, you should already be familiar with her because I've talked about her in my character guide, but her burst is so impactful because it has no turn restriction on it. So it will not run out. The way it runs out is if you fall below 50% or die, it'll dispel itself and auto heal and revive you, right? The thing is if you're not in a super aggressive fight, most fights, if you play well, you don't really take a ton of damage, right? And you could bring tanks and mitigation. So as long as you're not taking too much damage, her BT effect is infinite, and it gives her follow-ups like Garnet. And you do have that revive in the back pocket. So it is just such a good, impactful BT. And then her BT will store up HP, and then it makes your follow-ups hit harder. It's just super, super good. So if you're going to run Aerith, which I recommend, and Aerith falls in that category of core, where she's a character that I believe players will be using a lot. She's a character I'm going to use a lot. She's a character that has a ton of longevity. She's a very, very good investment. So I think Aerith would be like a top pick. Zac is a ridiculously good tank. If you're going to run Zac, his BT is super important. It makes him unkillable. It makes it so his Brave Shields extend to the party. Very, very good. Zac isn't like my number one pick this month, but he's up there because he's very good and tanks are very valuable, right? And then Quina. Quina would be my other top pick, and you really need it for Quina if you're going to run Quina effectively, because what makes Quina so good is Quina does a lot with max Brave cap and Brave mechanics that way, and the BT makes it so you deal damage based on your max Brave. So by having more Brave, it's going to increase the HP damage of the party, and to really get that best part of Quina's kit, you want the BT for that. So I would say Quina and Aerith and Core, those are probably my like big three that I would recommend this month. But like I said, it all depends on who you already have, what your resources are like, and what your pull plans are. And let's say you're gunning for those three, right? Like Core, Quina, and Aerith. You might decide, wait and see how your pulls go, see if you get the BT or not. Core's a really good example, though. I could recommend Core as like probably actually the best pick, just because... Core or Aerith, right? Like Core or Aerith, you could rank them a little bit higher for good choices for BT token, because these are characters that previously already had their FRs released. So there are players that already have their full kit done and just need the BT. So the reason why these are really good token slots is you literally token the BT and you completely skip the banner and save resources. Now, with Aerith, it also came with Zac FR, which a lot of people wanted, so you might not have been able to do that with Aerith. But on Core, if you don't want the other FR that's going to be on Core's banner, then you just go in and you BT his FR and you're done. So that could be a really good incentive for you. Quina now is a character that's brand new. So the way you got to handle Quina is you got to go in and do your normal summons first and see what you get. But if you have 50 BT tokens ready, what I would do with Quina is hop in with tickets, ticket until you have Quina's full kit, and then see where you're at. If you hit the BT along the way, bonus, now you've got your token saved. If you don't hit it, then there you go. You token and you're done and you save all your gems, right? So anyways, guys, let me know if this helps. Let me know who you're going to token this month. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.